Toastmasters International, where leaders are made. Now, this line is very familiar to each one of us sitting in this room, be it a guest or a member, because this line is always stuck to that one particular brand of Toastmasters. I have always wondered why Toastmasters International placed public speaking and leadership together. Two different terms altogether, isn't it? But gradually it started making more sense to me. To cite a small example, do you remember those group projects we all used to do in our school? In a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, it was always that one person who took the charge of dividing the work, submitting plans, and submitting the project at the end as well. Did that one person had any particular skill which the other people lacked? And everyone did equal amount of work and got the same marks, but that one person was the face of the group in front of the teachers and everybody else. Hey, which group is this? Oh, I remember, it is ABC's group, right? Oh, it is XYZ's group, right? And they don't even care that who are the other alphabets in the whole group. But why that one person is so special? Why do they have that certain face of the group? Look, it is because that one person could speak in front of everyone, transforming the group efforts into a project. Similar is the concept in Toastmasters. When one is a good public speaker, automatically they become a good leader as well. They know how to and when to speak. And people around are bound to believe and accept that person as a leader. So with this logic, is everyone who is a good speaker a good leader? Well, a big no. A general notion that we all have is that person must have a certain position or authority to be called as a leader. But I completely deny this as well. An year back, if I asked myself a question, am I a leader? A clear answer would be no. But I had certain positions such as co-president and project head in few of the college societies, along with being the creative excellence manager and PR manager for Toastmasters District 41 and Division E respectively. Then why I couldn't call myself a leader? That certainly made me a leader, isn't it? For many around me. But it was the day few members of those societies thanked me for my work and motivation I had given them. It was the sense of happiness and satisfaction in the team and the feeling of them being better and empowered people that made me feel for the first time that I am a leader. A position has nothing to do with leadership. It is all about the change which you have made. It was the friendship of few fabulous people that made all those years worth it. And few of them are sitting right here in front of me right now. On the day I left those societies, 8 to 10 people texted me. One of them said, Bhavya Di, you have inspired us and thank you for keeping us at the front. We'll continue this and take the team to newer heights. I will cherish those screenshots like anything in my phone gallery. This sense of satisfaction and happiness means more to me than anything else. Making a meaningful contribution and uplifting people to become a better version of themselves are two traits which, according to me, each leader should have. Another most important learning I had was that leadership is not about managing a group, but it is about solving problems. Someday, if a leader comes and say that I have no challenges, all my teammates are very satisfied with the overall performance, then according to me, that leader has failed miserably. In such a situation, there are two possibilities. Number one, that the team has lost confidence that the leader could actually help. Number two, they have concluded that the leader doesn't care at all. So no matter if they go to that leader with their problems, that leader is not going to address them. So be very cautious that how your team is behaving, because that also defines you as a leader. Even the best of companies and groups have challenges to overcome. Each year, Apple comes up with a different phone. Why? Their sales are already high, but they know that they have certain challenges and something scope of improvement in their previous model, right? So perfection is a myth when we talk about progress and growth simultaneously. In a nutshell, my friends, if you have inspired at least one person and helped them to become better and grow, you are a leader. If you have ever solved an iota of problem or doubt in any situation, you are a leader. With this, what is this concept about types of leadership? Well, according to me, it is simply the behavior one adopts while helping people and solving problems. And behavior is not permanent, it changes as per situations. No behavior is good or bad, it is just a reaction to an action. A leader can be bureaucratic, who engages the team into interactions, and the same leader can turn authoritative the next day if they see that their team is incompetent and not willing to focus on the overall goals. Democratic leadership is another style which is very common and much appreciated in contemporary times. There are few more to it, for example, pace setting, affiliative, and coaching leadership. Each of them have their own merits and demerits as well. But which one is the one which is practiced by me mostly? I see myself practicing innovative leadership most of the times, where I have a vision of the future and promote creativity of each and every member. In an innovative style, each and every member is the face of the team, and there is no other one person who can be called as the leader. So, am I a leader? Well, as long as I continue to contribute to the growth of my team and can resolve issues, I can surely call myself as the one. But the day I stop doing these two things, then I'll have to go back to square one and build myself as a true leader. So next time, before calling yourself as a leader after taking a position or a state of authority, do not forget to reflect that what change you have made, because change is everything. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster of the Day.